Hey guys, welcome back to Super Switch U. Uh, so today, Thursday the 7th, was a indie partner showcase, and I would like to kind of go over what was in there and my thoughts on some of the stuff, just while it's relevant, because these indie showcases are always small. It's independent developed games. It's stuff that people don't always focus on a whole lot. And I'm not the biggest indie game supporter, but every once in a while something catches my interest. Um, so yeah, let's definitely talk through this thing and see what was actually said. Um, but first, I would like to say that there was a couple of things. One thing, one thing I was kind of hoping to see. I swear there was a second, but I can't think of what it is. But there was something I was hoping it was going to be in this, and then it wasn't. And that was Yuka Replayly. I was really hoping to see something for that, maybe a release date. Maybe it's like the show opener or the closer or something, and it wasn't there. It was just absent. Yeah, it's hard to actually think about what is or isn't considered an indie game at this point. So I don't have any other expectations. But let's see. So the first game that they showed off was Mina the Hollower, which was from the same people that did uh, Shovel Knight. It was kind of weird looking. It had the same graphic style, which it's not really a seller for me because, like, yeah, I kind of grew up with some of these era games. It does not mean that I want to go back to those era games. I mean, we've taken such huge strides in graphics and frame rates and stuff, which I know I've said before and will probably say again. Graphics don't matter, and they don't. Like with Shovel Knight, it turned out to be a pretty fun game. It just had that old style, but not every game has to have that style of art. You can kind of do something different, especially if it's like the people that made that game. They're making something different. Give us a different look. Give us a different art style. Give us something that feels different from your last game and not like identical to your last game. But I really don't have a whole lot to say on this. I watched the trailer. Just I don't know. Just kind of looked like any of these dime a dozen independent 8-bit, 16-bit games. It didn't really stand out to me in any way to uh, really gain any kind of an opinion on it. The next game is called Well Dweller, and it kind of looked weird. Like, there's a couple of these, and I'm gonna say they look weird. And when I do, I mean like it's real dark and kind of like taking a really bad drug trip. I assume because I've never done drugs, but like it's something so far out there and crazy and wild that like I can't connect to it in any kind of way, and it doesn't hit any of my interest whatsoever as far as visually, gameplay style wise. I could just skip right on over that one, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to skim back through and try to remember exactly what I've watched because I only watched through this thing all the way once. Um, Neverway was the next one, and it kind of the same thing. It was all real dark and like just way out there. Uh, it's also, I guess, action RPG, life simulator, maybe bits of farming or dating or something. Uh, I think I think I have enough of those with just Rune Factory. Because it same thing, action RPG with these elements, but it has the uh more like a 32-bit, 16-bit type of art style, so a little more modern than what the first thing they showed off was. Um, I don't know. It just they focus so hard on the life sim stuff while you're doing these crazy things, and yeah, I think maybe less less life sims would be good, because a lot of things are throwing those elements into games that probably shouldn't have them. And if it didn't have that, maybe I would have tried like a demo or something to see a little more on it. But I, I don't know. They lost me when they started showing all the life sim stuff. Because all that means to me, like it translates to you're going to do a lot of grinding in this game. There's going to be a lot of things that just really don't matter. Like you could do all these choices, you could make it your own experience, but you didn't really need it to begin with. Like the game probably would have been all right on its own without these, and that's just a way to like stretch it out so it's a longer game. It doesn't have to be a long game. It just needs to be a good one. And these don't always add like fun gameplay experiences. It just adds time filler. So that's kind of what that looked like. Is it was like they had an idea for a game and they're like, man, this needs some padding in there, and so they put the life elements in it because it feels out of place with just everything else they showed off in the trailer. Um, that's the third the third game, and I've just talked crap about every single one of these. It does change a little bit. Hurdling was the next one, and I can't say that it was like I gotta go out and buy this game, but I would try a demo for sure. I would definitely look into it a little bit more if people put out gameplay videos and stuff. I just don't know that I would spend money on this thing like day one and play it. Because it does look like it could have some slow bits, because you are essentially just herding these mythical sheep, cattle inspired creatures. But there was a lot of puzzle solving elements that it showed in the trailer, and so like that had me interested. Like, do you train these things as you're herding them, and like you can use them to solve the puzzles? Because that's where I got interested in it, and I just smacked the anyway. But that's what had my interest. It wasn't so much that you're herding these animals all the way up a mountain and into the snow and whatever, but it was that there were puzzles and there were challenges and there were things that was maybe a little Pikmin type inspired, but not like this massive army, more like 8 to 10 sheep thingies. But it seemed pretty cool, and it didn't have dating life sim, farming sim type stuff in it. It was really just a move these creatures a lot. There's a game that I am thinking that is actually more similar to it, I guess, but you didn't have multiple things. You had one, and you had to like call it along with you, and you used it to platform and stuff. It was a little bit different, but the Maw from Xbox 360 Live Arcade. I don't think the word live was actually needed in that statement. But Xbox Arcade title, The Maw from Twisted Pixel. You kind of herded this thing and you, like, it grew bigger and whatever. It's not quite the same, but it's similar. So, like, I am interested in hurdling. I'm not invested in it, but I am interested in. Sorry. I had a cough. The next game also was a little interesting. Feels kind of more like a phone game. And it did surprise me in the fact that it was not a Switch 2 release. It was just a Switch 1. And that is this seat taken? You have these weird little shape faces for people, like squares, hexagons, circles, triangles. And you try to, like, you pick them up and it'll give a description of their personalities and what they like and stuff, and you find the best place in the room or the scenario to set them, like parties and bus rides and train rides and that kind of stuff. Like, Doesn't seem like it'd be good for long stretches of time, but like here and there, you're just trying to kill some time, pop that thing on. Like it looked like it could actually be fun, and I do like some of these brain teaser types of things. So it's kind of right up my alley. Uh, Again, it did look like it should have been a Switch 2 with the fact that you have a hand that you use to like grab these and you're moving it around. And so mouse controls would have been perfect for that, to actually go and click it and grab it and drag it to where you're going. Um, I guess they're going to use motion controls or thumbstick controls. Um, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how that works, I guess. Maybe they'll update it for Switch 2 later on, assuming that this company maybe doesn't have a dev kit for Switch 2. I say company. I mean, some of these games are probably like three guys in their garage building games or whatever, which would probably be cool too. I tried doing the indie game thing, and I couldn't figure out how to export stuff. I was not great at it, but I get it. Like sometimes you just got to do your own thing. Uh, Real sidetrack though. So that one was okay. The next thing they announced wasn't even like a new game. It's just an update for a game that already exists on Switch 1. And it's not a Switch 2 update. It's a, what do they call it? Picture Perfect update. It had like new stuff for camera mode and some new something. I don't know. I sort of tuned it out a little bit because I had figured that game already came out. So I was unsure what they were like trying to tell me. Next one. Next one's I'm kind of on the fence with, because it looks like it'd be a cool idea, and then they went into a whole thing, and I don't know. But content warning, where you go with a bunch of buddies into the old world, I think is what they called it, and there's all these like creatures and stuff, and you take a camera and you're trying to record content to upload to get views, and you're trying to make it out with at least one person so they can upload it, and you got like 3 days to get the views that you need or something. That's the thing. The time limit for getting the views makes no sense, right? Because you're just uploading this content for YouTube or whatever for viewers. So why do you have to have a time limit to get the content? I would think that there would be a better use for a time limit. Like, if you can't get it within this much time, the entrance closes, or if you can't get it within this time, then the stuff comes out and you die. Anything that makes more sense than you have to have the views in 3 days. Okay, because that's a thing. If that was if stuff mattered on getting views in 3 days, I might be in trouble some weeks. But that's all right. The actual gameplay when you're in the old world or whatever it was, that part looks fine. It's when you come back out and it's like, oh yeah, you like put it up onto upload it and grab a bag of popcorn and watch it with your buddies and whatever. Like, I don't need that part of it. Like, it could literally just exist as like, here you go, get the camera and you're the camera guy and you just go through. And then you fail, you just jump right back in. The outside stuff probably could have been left out. What was next? Oh, yeah. Balls. Balls was but not the good game Balls. Like a different Balls. Where's the... Okay, there we go. So, this was Ball X Pit. Or Ball Pit. I feel like they said both, maybe. And it's some kind of, like... I don't know, what would you call that kind of game? Because it's not a dungeon crawler. You're throwing balls and you're bouncing them against the room, like ricocheting, trying to fight enemies with it, and yeah, that's that was the game, I think, to its exact extent. Like, you could do stuff outside of the levels, but ultimately that was your goal, was you just ricocheting balls to Breakout, I think, was something like that, like where you had the platform thing that you moved and tried to keep the ball in play and you broke the blocks. It's like if you took that and you made it into a combat type of game instead, and there's no platform to keep bouncing it. You're just constantly throwing balls. Like that's what this feels like. Uh, so I have no interest. Like, it just feels like it's gonna get so old so quickly, and the fact that like there's I don't want to say there's no challenge, but it feels like there'd be less challenge. The fact that it sits there and ricochets, and yeah, yeah, I don't know where they're going with that game, but I don't know that I care so much. Um, what was the next one? Ultimate Sheep Raccoon. Yeah, that's a mouthful title. But I guess you're animals on carts or bikes or something, and it's like platforming. Yeah. Uh, they didn't describe a whole lot. This was straight up just a trailer showing gameplay, nobody talking about it or no voiceover like, "Oh, you could do this, this and this." It's like, nope, just footage of monkeys on bicycles and something about a ultimate sheep raccoon and yeah. So, eh. We could skip it. Now the next one though, this is probably the one thing that I was actually I liked it. Like I think the money problems would be the only thing I think that would stop me from checking it out the first day. Uh, but it was a game called Glaciered, and it's supposed to be like 65 million years in the future, and Earth is like iced over, and so life kind of developed under the sea in this frozen water type of thing. And so you're these bird, fish, person hybrids, and you're like underwater combating against sea life to protect something. I missed the story elements, but the gameplay actually caught me on this because it's swimming and combat and like adventuring, exploring kind of stuff. I don't know. It looked cool. Like if you didn't watch the presentation, definitely go in there and watch it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Like this looked really freaking cool for an indie game. Like really cool. So at some point for sure I will check that one out. And if they like happen to see this video and wanna pass along a free code for this game that I believe they said was a timed exclusive for Switch 2, and they would just want me to cover the game on my channel, I would absolutely be okay with that. Because I probably would have a lot of good things to say about it. If it looks and plays as good as it did in the trailer, I think they might actually have something here. Because yeah, like all the creatures, it's not like actual sea life. You're not going and fighting Shamu or Flipper or Echo the dolphin. Like these these things are all unique looking, almost very alien looking sea life, like as if it was re-evolved and in these new weird ice world conditions. Uh, I liked it. It made me think of a lot of things, sort of like trying to fight with in the Little Mermaid stages of Kingdom Hearts, minus the turn-based action selecting thing. Just hack and slash. I don't know. I don't know. My brain is all over the place on this one. I liked it. That's the ultimate point to this, is that I feel like that could be a good one. Did they say when that was coming out? I wanna. This holiday. So November, December. Studio Snowblind and Playism made it. I've never heard of either one of them, so I have no reference for their actual games. I just know that like they caught my interest here. Like this looked like it would be a pretty good time. And then they quick shotted a bunch of stuff after this. It was just like one after another for a while. It's a game called Winter Burrow that had something to do with a mouse. So I really wasn't quite sure what I was Looking at there. Zoom this in so I can come in here. Undusted letters from the past. You clean antique type items. I don't clean my own stuff, so I definitely don't want to play a game where I have to clean other people's stuff. Tiny bookshop. You run your own little trailer-based bookstore. That sounds awful. Caves of Qud. Qud. Cud. Chew some cud. That also looked just awful. I didn't care for any of that. Strange Antiques. I think I slept through this one because I don't remember that at all. What was the next one? Opus Prism Break. Visually, it looked okay. I don't know what was going on. There was some weird animal things. I feel like maybe they should have gave it some more details because I'm still confused. Go Go Town looks like every other life dating sim story of seasons. Animal Crossing, The Sims, Rune Factory type of game minus the RPG action elements. Yeah, it's great. It's good stuff. UFO 50 was the last one. And that one was kind of all over the place. I'm not really sure what was going on in that game, so I don't feel like I could fairly judge it. Because it almost looked like this was just from somebody who was only like half paying attention to this thing. It almost looked like Atari NES type of graphic micro games all being played like just spontaneously little clips. That I really couldn't tell because there was a guy running. I think at one point there was a walrus jumping. Yeah, like it looked like 5 different games or more, all being played like just one after another, but it was all under the same title of UFO 50. I don't know what that is. If somebody can explain that to me in the comment section, that would be great. Just a real brief, very detailed description so I understand what it was that I just fever dreamed through. And that's it. And then that's where they basically like left it off, and that's what we got. And most of those were only, I think the majority of it was Switch 1. Or Switch 1 and Switch 2 together. A lot of the stuff at the end. So I'm trying to go back and look. So UFO 50 was Switch 1. Go Go Town was Switch 1. Opus Prism Break was 1 and 2. Strange Antiques was 1. Caves of Cud was 1. Tiny Bookshop was 1. Clean My Old Crap was 1. Winter Burrow was 1. But Glaciered was the only Switch 2 like exclusive game, I think. Yeah, Ultimate Sheep Horse, it didn't, I feel like it didn't say specifically. Let me come back in here and see. Oh wait, no, hold on, it did. Hold on. Where is it? Okay, coming to Switch 2 and Switch 1. So that was both. Ball Pit was both. Content Warning was both. Little Kitty Big City was only 1. Right, okay, so yeah, everything up to the Little Kitty update was Switch 1 only. Except the first thing, the Shovel Knight People's game. Mina the Hollower was also both. So, yeah, it was a lot of Switch 1. There was more Switch 2 than I expected. Because I really didn't think indie developers even had dev kits to make games for it. I remember what the other game was now. Now that I'm sitting here thinking about the fact that like these people didn't have dev kits. Mouseworks. They showed a trailer off, and like Nintendo never showed it, but this sort of popped up somewhere. I know it did. It's not a fever dream. This happened. But it was like really heavily used the mouse controls, so it was like a Switch 2 exclusive digital title. And the last time I seen an update for it, they said that the content was complete. Like the game was ready to release. They were waiting on a dev kit. And so I was thinking maybe the indie presentation was like the place it was going to show up. They were going to, show a new trailer, and all the other little mouse jobs, and then give it a release date, and say yeah, they have the dev kit. No, that was also not here. So, yeah, I can't believe it took me this long to remember. Like 25 minutes into this video, and I remember now that that's what I was wanting to do. So, I guess just to brief summarize this, a lot of this looked like generic indie shovelware crap. Um, but, but there was a few that looked interesting. Hurdling has interested me a little bit, and Is This Seat Taken was interesting, even though they were both Switch 1 title only. Content warning, I would still check it out. I'm sure I'm gonna hate all the parts. It's gonna feel like doing this, making videos and putting them on YouTube. But when I do it, it's different. When I'm playing a game and I'm pretending to do it and it's not real stuff. But it looked okay, and Glacier looks amazing. I'm very interested to see more on that one. So, yeah, it's that's it. That was the indie world. Hopefully, because there is rumors now, because the only person to predict the indie world said there was a 3-part phase 2 directs for this period of time. The first one was the partner showcase, and then there's this, and then there was a third one. And I said this before in another video. I swear I did. I think it was the last one. That I know that there's got to be a big direct, because there's so many things that we don't know, and that the indie world and the partner showcase felt like they were pushing out some of the smaller announcements to make the big direct full of the big announcements, the heaviest hitters, the biggest AAA titles. And maybe we're going to get that. It may not be next week, but I feel like it has to be before September, because there's not a ton for September, and it's so short notice for anything in October. We talked about this in the last one, I think, too. Not the last one, then somewhere else. October is so lacking in release titles. It's literally 2 games, and one of them is it Dragon Ball or was it SpongeBob? One of those. And Dragon Quest, and that was like it. No, October had a few more things because it has Little Nightmares and stuff, but still, it was all like little stuff. So there has to be a thing. I want to say maybe not the week of Dragon Drive, but what's that week after look like? Yeah, so the 18th to the 22nd, or make it the 21st. Ooh, the 21st does look pretty good though for this. I'm gonna throw out a prediction, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, because I've got no personal connections to anything and no information. I'm just gonna see if I can guess a thing right, and we'll go with it. Because next Thursday, so a week from today, is Dragon Drive, and they're gonna want to push that one because it's the weird new wheelchair game, and they want people to care about the wheelchair basketball. And the 28th is Kirby and the Forgotten Lands. So it feels like maybe that's not the time for this. But there's nothing going on the 21st. I don't think there's like any Switch 2 or Switch 1 games launching the week of the 17th through the 23rd. Actually, I would really like to take a look at that now. Give me just a second here. I want to minimize this so I can keep my camera open, and so I can see what I'm doing here and see what I'm doing over here. And I'd like to take a look, because I don't know. Switch 1 launch window stuff anymore because I stopped keeping track. But at the same time, Nintendo has nothing, so it still kind of follows that same thing. Nintendo Switch. Okay, there's not like a tab for games, I guess. At least not on Best Buy. Switch games. And can't specifically pick a month, right? It's gonna be. Oh, okay. Here we go. Pre-orders and. Okay, pre-orders and coming soon. I can't do that. How many pages? Oh, 106. Holy crap, that's gonna be a lot to look through. Okay, let's start with Switch 2. I know there's not anything. I've seen this already. August has 2 things on the 14th, a 27th and a 28th. So, nothing there. I guess there's a 26th. And September, August 15th, but I don't think Slay the Princess is going to really stop anybody from announcing something. Ooh, they got a cover art for Once Upon a Katamari. I probably should have looked at Switch 1 stuff for a while. It's not like I've stopped playing it altogether because I haven't. Toho Luna Nights is not going to stop nothing. Yeah, so like there's no big announcements. No big games releasing that particular week, it looks like. Because it should have been on the first page, like the most relevant, best-selling, best pre-order stuff. And it's definitely not. So, that, I think, pretty much tells us what we need to know. I'm sticking with my prediction then. 21st. Thursday the 21st, in 2 weeks. I think that's when we're going to see a primary mainline direct, whatever you want to call it, because if you don't do that, then you get into September, which there is no Nintendo releases in September. No small ones, no big ones, no nothing. No nothing. It's just completely empty. So, yeah, I mean, technically you could say any one of those Thursdays would be real good to put something out there. Just throw out a date, but then you're talking like 3 months before the end of the year, and the problem is that we don't have anything from Nintendo with a date to the end of the year that's not Kirby or Pokemon. And Pokemon is technically not Nintendo. It's Game Freak and the Pokemon Company, and it's just exclusive Nintendo and mobile phone. So, technically, it don't count. It's like a second party. But even if you do, both of those are Switch 1 games, just releasing a Switch 2 edition. So something's gonna happen. I think it's safe to say the 21st, not the 31st. It's Sunday. But no, August 21st. I'm saying that's probably it. But let me know what you guys think about any of it. This direct, the last direct, the possibility of another direct, any of the games talked about. If you think I'm way off on some of the stuff that I was like, it's like a pass, definitely comment down below and let me know what you guys thought about said game and what looked really good about it, and maybe I'll go back and take a second look at it. Because again, I've watched the direct once, so I didn't look that far into some of these. This is just sort of a first impression kind of thing. So definitely sway my opinion, and I'll look and see. And if something just really motivates you guys to talk about it this much, then maybe I'll try to get it first day, and we'll talk about it and show off some gameplay and whatever. It'll be a fun time. Be good stuff. But then, see, so yeah, comment down below. hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, so we can get closer to that 1,000 subscriber mark, because that would be great. Might even do a giveaway. Might even do a giveaway for that. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. If we can get to 750, I'll start thinking about what I can give away. I got that thing. I got this thing. I need to hang this thing back up. I don't know. We could do a thing. Let's hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and hit the bell notification button to be alerted to new videos when they pop up, because I'm not consistent whatsoever. So you definitely need some kind of an alert system to be like, hey, that weird guy's talking about games again. So hit that bell button, and I will see you guys next time.